Short story by Paul McCann, Bobo and Charlie at the circus. It was spring festival time and the circus came to town. Bobo had some money saved in his piggy bank from the odd jobs he had been doing around the town and the community, and he thought it might be a good idea to go and see the circus show. So he took a walk to Charlie's house and knocked on the door, and he asked Charlie's mother's permission to take him to the circus. After getting the thumbs up, he told Charlie, who was so excited about going to the circus, and he smashed his piggy bank and started counting out all the money that he had saved. So together they had more than enough to go and have a good day out. That day they both went down to the town to buy some tickets, and the circus parade had already started through the streets. There was the police on duty to make sure everything went unhindered, and the traffic lights were all turned off for the day while the parade passed through. Lots of visitors had arrived into the town for the circus, and the shopkeepers put on clearance sales and special lunches for the visitors. The footpaths were overcrowded with people, and then Bobo and Charlie decided that they might get some candy floss while they were waiting for the parade to go through. They stood watching the funny clowns running up and down and the funny little animals that were coming through, the trucks with tigers behind bars, and there were huge elephants making their way with chains around their feet. Charlie asked Bobo, "Why are they wearing chains, Bobo?" "Maybe they must have robbed the bank, Charlie, and now they're going to do some hard labour for their misbehaviour." Charlie just looked at him. "Really? I didn't know elephants could break into banks." Bobo just looked at him and shook his head. "Charlie, I'm just joking you. Look, the chains are there to stop them from running away, because sometimes elephants can get upset and angry, and maybe they might just run off and damage something. So the chains are kind of there to stop them from wandering into places where they shouldn't go." Charlie nodded his head. There were some ponies with acrobats on their backs, and then there was some funny clowns, and there was some people dressed up in work clothes as they came to Hope Park, where they were going to put up the big top tent, and they worked with a flurry and a hurry-scurry to get everything done in time for the opening show. After Bobo and Charlie bought their tickets, they went back home to get changed and to have some lunch before going to the show that afternoon. And later on in the day, as Bobo and Charlie made their way to the circus at Hope Park, they were queuing up at the gate, and suddenly Charlie started to look in his pockets and fidget around, and Bobo said, "Charlie, what's the matter with you?" And Charlie just stood with a blank expression. He looked a little bit worried. "What's the matter, Charlie?" "Oh, Bobo, you know what? I wish I'd have brought the TV set." Bobo looked at him. "What do you want to bring a TV set for?" "Oh, because I left the tickets on top of it." "Oh, Charlie, come on, hurry. We gotta go back." So the two of them started to run as fast as they could all the way back to Charlie's house, where they got the tickets from the TV set, and then they made their way back to Hope Park. And on the way, Charlie stopped in a footpath, and he took his breath, and he said, "Bobo, let's go and get a bar of chocolate and take with us to the circus." So, and they went to the shop, and they got a bar of chocolate, and then they came out and they started to run again all the way back to the big top. It was a sellout show, and many people had arrived and travelled far to enjoy the excitement and the atmosphere of Papa Circus. During the interval, Bobo and Charlie had a ride outside on the Hoover Doover bumper cars, and they wandered around the circus grounds where colourful people were wandering around pathways with bright lanterns and lights flashing around different stalls. There were laughing clowns and juggling acts and funny little mirrors, and everywhere they went there was something wonderful to see. And they stood and they watched people on the Hoover-Doover bumper cars bumping each other around, and as they got bumped into each other they would lift off the ground a few feet in the air and jump ahead. Bobo watched the floating cars. "We really have to get in after the circus, Charlie, and have a ride in that thing." Charlie nodded excitedly, while there were people holding on tightly. Soon afterwards, a loud trumpet started to sound across the grounds, announcing that the show was about to begin. Bobo and Charlie turned back towards the big top tent, and all of the other crowd started streaming inside to get their seat. It took people a while to settle down. There was laughter, there was music, and all kinds of giggling and carrying on, the clatter and chatter of people. There was all kinds of performance that day, with jugglers and clowns and acrobats and the people on the high wire and people doing the trapeze, as Bobo and Charlie were mesmerised watching each show, applauding and shouting and appreciation of all the performers and what they did. Then suddenly there was a silence all over the ground, and the audience were held spellbound for a moment while the ringmaster asked for silence. And under a spotlight there, a little poodle dog high above was starting to walk across the high wire. Everyone looked with apprehension, and the little dog made its way right across safely. And when it went to the other side, there was a white pony with a monkey on their back that arrived into the ring, and they started to run around and around, capturing the people's attention. And then the big top started to fill with lights, and flashing on and off with music playing, the elephants made their appearance, throwing large balls into huge baskets that were left in the ring. The circus continued on and on, with a magician and a bareback horse rider running around the ring. Then they sent in the clowns to end the show, which was a very funny way to end the performance. Everyone had a wonderful time at the end of it all. Everyone applauded and screamed for more. Bobo and Charlie left the big top at the end of the show, and they played some of the carnival games that were there and the sideshows, and they went and spoke to a few people about how exciting it was to see the circus. A man with a megaphone thanked everyone for coming, and he urged them to come back. "Come back again to Popple's Travelling Circus. Roll up and come back soon. We're here until the end of the weekend. Roll up, and have some fun, for everyone's welcome here at Popple's Circus." The organisers and the ringmasters were thanking everyone for coming, and they handed out free balloons to anyone who asked. And as Bobo and Charlie walked home after a day at the circus with their red balloon on a string, they were all smiles, and their faces lit up with excitement, with memories of the day when the circus came to town. The end.